Vajiralongkorn is worth at least $43 billion, but he could be worth much more. Assets of the Thai monarchy were previously controlled by the Crown Property Bureau, but one of the new king's first major acts was to transfer all the holdings in the vast company to his personal ownership. Those assets have been conservatively valued at $70 billion.
If you just go by the name, like Crown Property Bureau, who do you think that property belongs to? The obvious answer would be to the Crown, and you are absolutely correct. The property in the Crown Property Bureau belongs to the King of Thailand. The mainstream media are trying to portray that it belongs to the people. So if you look at this website here, which is the Crown Property Bureau website, starting point of the Crown Property Bureaus come from the Department of Treasury in the reign of King Chulalongkorn, Rama V. Actually, more details on that. So if you notice that the year 2479 was actually the year when the year 1935, the year right after when Thailand had a coup that overthrew absolute monarchy under the King Rama VII. So this is the coup that started by the People Party, also known as Kana Rasadon. So if you notice that the transformation occurred in the year 1933, and right after that, you have this Crown Property Bureau that was established in 1935, right after the revolution. So you can see that this Crown Property Bureau was established under the politician that overthrew the monarchy. They want to control the asset of the monarchy without being too obvious. For example, the Crown Property Bureau holds a lot of land in the portfolio. So the people who manage that portfolio could say, oh, this piece of land is not doing very well, so I'm gonna sell it for really cheap, like really cheap, because I want to get rid of it. And he sell it to someone that he knows, maybe his relative, his friend, and then that person now owns a piece of land that he got for really cheap. The valuation of that land is actually pretty expensive, so he sell it back to the Crown Property Bureau. So the Crown Property Bureau buy back the land at a higher price, and sometime when they sold the land for cheap, some people never sell it back for the high price. They just keep the land that once belonged to the king. And that's how a lot of corrupt politicians in Thailand operate. Think about it. I mean, why would the King of Thailand back then establish Crown Property Bureau? Why would you establish a trust that can manage the money for you? Let the politician in Thailand manage the money for you when you know that they are corrupt and they are motivated by nothing but money. The reason is he didn't do it. It's the politician who got into power through the revolution actually did it. Vajiralongkorn Rama X took the Crown Property Bureau asset to his ownership is basically just him taking what belongs to him under his direct control. The narrative that the mainstream media want you to believe for the King of Thailand is pretty negative. But as you can see, the King of Thailand actually distributes some of his assets to the Thai people here to help them do better in life. The way that he does that is actually very different from how most of the government in the world does it. Like for example, in the US, you have like social security benefit where you get some money to spend on the food. The way the royal family of Thailand help the Thai people is by creating resources that allow people to make their own income.